the heart of a bustling, lively city lived a cat named Marmalade. He was a magnificent ginger fluffball. But more than that, he was incredibly cunning. Marmalade had a special talent for pranks, and his favorite thing was outsmarting everyone he met. Each morning, he'd strut into the yard, his eyes scanning for his next bit of entertainment. High up on a balcony, Rico the parrot would start his day squawking, "Good morning, neighbors." This was Marmalade's cue. He'd creep up with silent paws and give a sharp tug to the rope holding Rico's cage.
The cage would swing wildly, and Rico would shriek in frustration.
Hey! Who's there? Stop that!
Marmalade would just chuckle to himself, hidden in the bushes.
Next, his attention would turn to the fountain where a family of ducks was enjoying a peaceful stroll.
He'd sneak up, find the perfect little pebble, and with a flick of his paw, toss it into the water with a quiet plop.
The ducks, thinking someone was calling them or offering treats, would swim back and forth in confusion, their quacks echoing with uncertainty. But his favorite target was Boblick, the dog who loved napping on a comfy mat by his doghouse. Marmalade would tiptoe closer and closer until he was right by Boblick's floppy ear. Then he'd let out a sudden, sharp coo. Boblick would yelp, leaping into the air, sometimes even higher than his own doghouse, his heart pounding. All the animals in the yard knew the unwritten rule. If you see Marmalade coming, trouble isn't far behind. They were tired of his antics, tired of being the punchline to his jokes. One sunny afternoon, they decided enough was enough. Rico, Boblick, and the mother duck gathered for a secret meeting. "We have to do something about him. He's going to drive us all crazy!" squawked Rico, still ruffled from his morning swing.
The mother duck, always gentle, paddled her feet thoughtfully.
"He's not truly mean. Just a whisky bassa," she said softly. "He doesn't seem to understand he's upsetting us." Boblick, who had finally recovered from his morning scare, wagged his tail slowly. "Maybe he just doesn't know any other way. We need to retrain him," he suggested, a clever glint in his eye. And right there, under the shade of a big oak tree, the animals hatched a brilliant plan. The very next morning, Marmalade strolled out of his house, ready for another day of pranks. He stretched, yawned, and looked around, expecting the usual chaos to begin. But something was off. The yard was eerily silent. There was no cheerful greeting from Rico, no happy quacking from the ducks. He decided to start with his usual routine. He snuck over to Rico's balcony and tugged the rope. The cage swayed, but this time there was no indignant squawking. Rico just pretended to be fast asleep, not even fluttering an eyelid. Confused, Marmalade moved on. He went to the fountain and started tossing pebbles into the water. Plop, plop, plop. But the ducks didn't even turn their heads. They pointedly looked the other way, grooming their feathers as if nothing was happening. This was getting weird.
Finally, he crept up to Boblick, who was snoozing on his mat.
Marmalade took a deep breath and meowed his loudest boo, right in the dog's ear. Boblick didn't even flinch. He just let out a soft snore and continued sleeping.
Marmalade tried again and again.
He jiggled the cage, tossed more pebbles, and meowed until he was hoarse. Nothing. No one yelled. No one jumped. No one even seemed to notice he was there. For the first time in his life, Marmalade felt bored. Terribly, completely bored. The fun of the prank was gone without a reaction. He slumped down in the middle of the yard, his fluffy tail drooping onto the grass. He let out a long, sad sigh. "Oh, fine," he mumbled to no one in particular. I just wanted to play." From their hiding spots, the other animals exchanged knowing glances. A wave of understanding washed over them.
Rico peeked out from behind his seed bowl.
The ducks stopped, pretending to be interested in a stray leaf. They finally saw it. Marmalade wasn't a mean-spirited pest. He was just a loner who didn't know how to ask for a friend. He was lonely. Slowly, Booblik got up and walked over to the dejected cat. He sat down beside him.
If you want to play, you just have to say so, Booblik said gently.
Playing tricks on everyone isn't a game, but friendship. Friendship is the best game of all.
Marmalade looked up, his green eyes wide with confusion. Really?
You're not mad at me? From his balcony, Rico flapped his wings. Of course not! We just wanted you to play with us, not on us! A slow smile spread across Marmalade's face. A genuine, happy smile that made his whiskers twitch. And from that day forward, everything changed. The mischievous prankster was gone, replaced by a loyal friend. He started helping Rico by finding strong twigs and soft moss to make his nest cozier. He played Splush-on-Seek with the ducklings in the fountain, his laughter mixing with their happy quacks, and he and Booblik became the best of friends. They would spend their afternoons racing each other to the front gate, their paws thundering on the pavement in a joyful competition where winning did unmatter as much as running together. The animals in the yard no longer feared Marmalade. Instead, they waited for him eagerly every morning, excited to see what new adventure they would start together. The yard, once a stage for his pranks, was now a playground for friends. One evening, as the sun painted the sky in shades of orange and pink, Marmalade sat on a rooftop, looking out over the city with Booblik by his side. You know, he said, a contented purr rumbling in his chest. I used to think being the most cunning cat in town was the best thing in the world. But it turns out, having friends is so much more fun. And from then on, whenever anyone in the city mentioned that clever ginger cat, they'd say, "Oh, you mean Marmalade?" "Yes, he's a cunning one. All right." But they would always add with a smile, "But he's also the most loyal friend you could ever ask for." And that S, the story of how a little bit of understanding and a whole lot of patience turned a lonely prankster into a friend for life. It just goes to show that sometimes the ones who seem the most annoying are just looking for a way to connect. Thanks for watching. And don't forget to like